Hello and welcome to another Dragon Ball FighterZ video. Today we have a much requested character profile for Krillin. Krillin is a very unique character. He's a bit tough to describe with a simple sentence, so I really hope that with this video you'll be able to understand the value and utility he brings to a team, because he really does bring a lot of utility. And even though when he's fighting one-on-one he doesn't look like the strongest character, his team value is something that is just undeniable. But let's start breaking down his abilities. Before we even get to his specials, I want to talk about his ki blasts. By pressing down in the special button, Krillin shoots a ki blast downwards that launches him into the air, and he can do this again while jumping, which gives him almost like a double jump, and at the same time he damages an enemy that's below him. But that's not all that's unique about his ki blasts. He can actually direct them at will. By pressing the special button, Krillin shoots a ki blast just like everyone else, but if you press the special button again combined with the direction, you can direct his ki blasts up or down, making them a little more unpredictable than usual. Now Krillin is completely open while doing this, so it is a dangerous maneuver, and it doesn't really do a lot of damage, but it can be useful in certain situations. Well, let's get to his special moves. The first one is the Kamehameha with quarter circle forward and the special button, but this one behaves a bit differently from Goku's and Cell's Kamehameha, because Krillin can charge this attack and jump while it's charging. Charging the Kamehameha doesn't make it deal more damage, but the timing alone can throw the opponent off balance, and even fool him into thinking you're gonna throw a Kamehameha from the ground or from the air when you decide at the last second to switch things up. Krillin's second special is the Solar Flare with quarter circle backwards and the special button. This is a short to medium range stun that can only be done while on the ground. If you're too far away from your opponent, it doesn't work at all. And the stun duration is very short. You can't even follow it up with a super dash afterwards, but you can follow it up with an assist attack or with any of Krillin's supers, making this not only one of the easiest ways to counter an opponent of the entire game, but also a very punishing attack if you follow it up with a super. Moving on to Krillin's attack specials, first we've got the Afterimage strike with quarter circle forwards and an attack button. The range will vary depending on whether you press the light, medium or heavy attack buttons. The light attack version has the shortest range, the heavy attack version has the longest, but the heavy attack version also tracks the enemy position, meaning that you can use the medium attack version to switch sides with the opponent if you're too close. But that's not all. If you hold down the attack button on any of these versions, you will actually perform a fake. Krillin will not strike the enemy and the Afterimage will simply vanish. So if you're into playing mind games, you're gonna love this ability. And I left this special attack for last because it is just very unique and it's gonna take a while to explain it. It's the Senzu bean with quarter circle backwards and an attack button. When Krillin is your active character, he'll throw a Senzu bean to one of your assist characters and heal them up. You can choose which assist character you want to heal by pressing a different attack button. The light attack heals the assist at the top and the medium attack button heals the assist at the bottom. If one of your assists is dead, Krillin's Senzu bean will actually hit the stage wall and bounce back into the field, at which point Krillin can pick it up himself, or if the enemy is aware that this is gonna happen, he might even steal the Senzu bean from you. But you might have noticed that Krillin doesn't always throw a Senzu bean when you perform this motion. Sometimes he throws rocks as well. And it may seem random at first whether he throws a rock or the Senzu bean, but there's actually a sequence. And the sequence goes Senzu bean followed by 3 rocks, then another Senzu bean, then 3 more rocks, and then your third Senzu bean, and that's the last one. From there on out, it's nothing but wrongs. However, if you accidentally throw a Senzu bean at a character that's full health, or if you throw it at the ground and no one picks it up because it went off screen, that one does not count. You only have 3 Senzu beans to heal people, but if they don't heal, just pretend that Krillin is picking them up and putting them back in his pants. And as your assist character, this is also Krillin's ability, and the rotation works exactly the same. He throws a Senzu bean, then 3 rocks, etc, etc, etc. But this time it doesn't throw it directly at your character, he throws it to the ground close to your character, meaning that if the opponent is close by, you may very well be giving him free health. It's dangerous to use Krillin as an assist character sometimes, so be careful when you use it. And after you spend all 3 Senzu beans, the assist attack actually changes. Krillin will throw his directed ki blasts instead, which I guess is way better than the rocks. Moving on to his supers, Krillin is once again very unique and interesting. He's got 2 supers, a level 1 that can go up to a level 5 and a level 3 super. His level 1 is the Destructo Disc with quarter circle forward and the right bumper or trigger, and it can only be done from the ground and it will always travel horizontally. And it can be very devastating. A single Destructo Disc on its own, it's nothing special, but you can mash buttons to throw up to 5 Destructo Discs and deal some serious damage. Now each disc will cost you 1 bar bar of meter, and this is why this could be a level 5. This is also the ability with the biggest chip damage that I've seen in the entire game, meaning that even if your opponent blocks the 5 shots, it might still be worth spending the meter just for the chip damage. And since you can cancel from the solar flare into this, and solar flare is such an easy counter to perform, I think you can now understand how devastating this can be. And finally, his level 3 super is the split energy wave with quarter circle backwards and the right bumper or trigger. You can only do this while on the ground, and it starts with an horizontal energy wave followed by a ki blast shower. Even if the opponent blocks the first one, he can still get hit by the second one, so it's an interesting ability because it can damage the opponent on 2 different moments. Though when a player blocks the first energy wave, they usually avoid the ki blast shower as well. And as far as auto combos go, this is what happens when you mash the light attack button. And this is what happens when you mash the medium attack button. Now, because the second auto combo ends with a Destructo Disc, if you keep mashing, you can actually unleash the 5 Destructo Discs, which probably makes this the most powerful auto combo in the entire game. And now that we know his abilities, here are some general tips on how to use Krillin. Let's start with the obvious value he brings to a team. He can heal your teammates with the Senzu Bean, so make sure you use it. Now, of course, the first Senzu Bean is easy to use because Krillin just throws it immediately, but so many players forget about this ability afterwards. All you have to do is just keep in mind that you have to call in Krillin for an assist attack once in a while. It's not hard to find an opening where Krillin can throw a rock. He's not contributing much to your combo or damage, but you're getting the rock rotation out of the way, so when you need another Senzu Bean, Krillin is ready to throw it. So that would be my first tip. You're gonna have to keep in mind the rotation. You'll need to know how many rocks you've thrown since the last Senzu Bean at all times during a match. And that just takes a little bit of practice. It's a bit unconventional for sure, but it's not that hard, you'll get used to it. And personally, I like to throw the Senzu Beans to my assist characters using Krillin as my active character. Just so the opponent doesn't surprise me and grab the Senzu Bean from the ground instead of my active character. There are definitely situations where it's safe to throw it into the stage, but just to be safe, as a beginner, always have Krillin as your active character and throw it to one of your assists. Then you can swap characters and start throwing rocks with Krillin as your assist character. The second awesome thing that Krillin brings to a team is being another great character at finishing combos, at converting meter into damage with his Destructo Disc. If all 5 of them hit, this super is just as strong as other level 5 supers, and if the enemy blocks them, it still deals a ton of chip damage. So Krillin becomes a relatively safe way to spend your meter. But what about when you don't have the meter and you don't need to heal your allies? What does Krillin bring to your team? Well, he's not an easy guy to play, I'll tell you that much. He's a tricky kind of character. He can fake the opponent a lot using the Afterimage strike, not only because you can actually fake the opponent using this move, but because of the different ranges as well. You can sometimes just swap sides using the special attack. If you read your opponent well, they will feel completely powerless. And I guess the same could be said for the directed ki blast and the Kamehameha, which you can hold for a bit, or just shoot it right away, or jump and throw it, or just jump and fall back down to the ground and throw it. So it's that type of character. It's definitely not the friendliest character for beginners, because you'll need to get in the mind of your opponent and be able to read his behavior and know what he's gonna do next. But it does bring a lot of value to a team by being so unique. So if you're at the beginner level and you want to start using Krillin, just use him as your Senzu Bean dispenser, as well as the guy you go to spend the meter on his Destructo Disc, because that just deals so much damage. Thank you for watching our character profile for Krillin. Feel free to request the next character in the comments down below. I think Piccolo is currently ahead, so don't stop voting with your comment down in the comment section below. In the meantime, for last week's profile, we did Gohan, and if you want to watch it, you can click the video up there. If you're in the mood for something else, there's also the video at the bottom, but as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!